can see highlighted that celiac trunk. And then just inferior to the celiac trunk on that anterior surface, we see that superior mesenteric artery, right? Remember, as we move down, we would see our jejunal and our ileal branches. We can add those on in a second, but if I add them on right now, it's just gonna be a big pile of mess, like covering everything, and we won't be able to see anything else. So coming off the superior mesenteric artery as it descends will be those jejunal branches, which we would see up here in this left upper quadrant, and then the ileal branches, which we'll see as it comes down almost to the terminal end of it. If we look right here, we can see that ileocolic artery, right through there. And we may recall that from that ileocolic artery, we received our appendicular artery. Now, as you can see there, it's actually on the appendix, and that's how I would tag it on the test, okay? I'd have a tag in the artery, the card would say, name this artery, you'd say appendicular artery. Let's see if we can get the cecal artery on here. Assuming those are reasoning. Let's go with our anterior cecal artery, I think that'll be easiest to see. This will stick with the color scheme he has, and we'll tag it. So if we look right here on the cecum itself. Okay, now it's going to tell you anterior, it's going to give you posterior cecal arteries. We don't care, right? We just care cecal artery because that's what's on our list. Okay, so if you see an artery going into the cecum, then we're going to call it the cecal artery. Now coming out right above here, where you see that ileocolic artery, you see that? There's our ileocolic artery. Just above that, at this next arrow, we see the right colic artery going to our ascending colon. So the next artery we see coming out above that is that middle colic artery. We said the middle colic artery was going to sort of follow the same orientation as the right colic artery, but we said that it would do something different, and that was it would go right up the middle. So even though one of the branches contributes to that portion of the marginal artery, it also fans out and goes straight up the middle. So the middle colic artery is the next one. So if we were looking from that first arrow to second arrow, we then add a third arrow as that next major branch right through there. That is that middle colic artery. Now we said each one of those contributes to this guy, which is the marginal artery itself. So all along the margin, you can envision the actual colon being surrounding all around there. We see that marginal artery. You okay with those branches of the superior mesenteric? Ish. Really the only way to get comfortable with us is to spend time with it. I mean, I can show it to you, but you're going to have to play with the tables and do it yourself. But at least this way you'll be clear on what you're looking at. Okay, so let's look at that inferior mesenteric artery. And the inferior mesenteric artery is this right through here. And we can see from that inferior mesenteric artery that at the most superior part of it, something comes off of it and goes directly to the right. So right there we get our right colic artery, or excuse me, I'm sorry, our left colic artery. We're on the left side. Sorry about that. So you see a part go directly over towards the descending colon, but you're also going to see one curve up and go up into the marginal artery as well. Don't let that confuse you. It's still part of the left colic. If I were going to tag it though, I'll tag it where you see the arrow pointed. The next thing we're going to see is down here as the sigmoid artery. So if you can sort of envision that sigmoid colon kind of taking its curve and turn right through here, right in the kind of I guess the concavity of that curve right through there is where I typically will tag it, just so that you can see it right in there, kind of cradling the sigmoid colon. So that's normally where I'll tag it. But remember, it's more substantial than that. I'm just telling you that that's where I tag it if I tag it on a test. Now there's one more branch that we said we needed to know from our inferior mesenteric artery, and that was this guy right through here, that superior rectal artery. So the very last branch is going to be that superior rectal artery. You guys okay with those anterior branches? Okay. That only takes 14 minutes to kind of go through it, so we can keep moving, and we're going to see some of the other structures on here as well too.